Good afternoon, juniors. Today begins the day that we are beginning to put in our course request for our senior year. So this will be the last time you do that. Class of 2022 sounds pretty good. We'll be stepping into that year pretty quickly. I've got a quick screencast. I shouldn't say quick. Actually, by the time I go over everything I want to clarify, it ends up being close to 20 minutes. But today is the day that you can go into Skyward and actually start entering your course requests for real. I know we did Zello already. That was essentially practice, but this will be for real where we actually enter in our course requests, and those are the things that we want for next year. I say window because we started this last year, but don't freak out if you don't know everything you want to take for sure right now. And I will be glancing at notes a couple times so I don't miss anything. But don't freak out because we have a window. We have from now until 8 days from now. This is our window that we have for scheduling. So 8 days from now, you'll be reconvening back in homeroom, and you have to have a full schedule at that point with at least 6 credits, anywhere up to 7.5, somewhere from 6 to 7.5 credits into your schedule for next year. You're going to verify it with your homeroom teacher at that time, and then you'll be good to go. So there's some things I want to make sure I clarify. It's my job to make sure the information's out there. I know some of this stuff is repetitive and some you already knew from last year, maybe even the year before, but I do have to go over kind of a subject by subject run through to make sure everyone does the correct entry. We don't do any preloading for seniors. If we're going to be seniors, we used to. We don't do any preloading, so you have to pick your whole schedule and you have to be on top of what you need to graduate. So those who fail the class, make sure you get those classes in there. Otherwise, I put an abundance of information inside of Google Classroom that could basically answer any question you possibly have. If you're not sure what you need to graduate and say, hey, do I need this? There's a link on there that says graduation requirements. You just pull that up. And on that same link, there's actually a link to, it's redundant, but there's a link down on the bottom that will give you a link towards the school board page, which says the same thing. So essentially for seniors, almost all of you will have to have a credit of English and a credit of social studies yet. That's the great majority. You should have your science taken care of if you passed everything, and you should have your math taken care of if you passed everything, because you should have taken those the first 3 years. Bio-ed and health should be taken care of if you pass those. So again, English and social studies should be the only have-tos, and then you have a whole lot of choices. So I'm running down a few things. Also on Google Classroom, I put in the list of classes, the course offerings that exist at Brilliant High School. Probably the page you're going to use the most. You're actually going to get a physical copy of that as well. So, and I'm going to say this right off the bat, I don't mind if you guys log in and start playing with your schedule, log into Skyward and start playing with your schedule while I'm talking, if you can figure that out. I understand 20 minutes is a long time and some of you have it, but this is information that I have to clarify. The screencast will be put on Google Classroom as well, in case you remember, I thought Vandahai said something right around the middle, and you can go back to about the 9-minute mark and see what he said about that thing if you'd like, and if you need to use that. But anyway, course offerings here tells you every course. The beauty for seniors is going to be seniors is pretty much everything is on the menu for you. There are some courses with P's in here. Make sure you have the prerequisite for that. We'll get people who take drawing and never took art 1. We have to remove them. We'll get people who take marketing and they didn't take intro to business and marketing, and then the teacher comes down and we have to remove them. So make sure if it says prerequisite, you know what the prerequisite is. And if you're not sure what those things are, right here, again, the link, it's just called link in your Google Classroom. The link gives a list of every single class. So again, I'll just randomly, and nicely it's organized that you can pick the area you want to go to. If I want a Miss Graminsky class, I just click on face. If I want a business class, I just pick on business and they all pop right up. And if there does happen to be a prerequisite or anything like that, it'll be listed right there. Like this year's accounting 2, you have to have accounting 1 the full year, and you must have a B or better in that to get into accounting 2. So make sure you hit the prerequisites. There are some dual credit college classes in high school, and there's a couple of those. Your teachers will let you know what those are, like marketing, Chem 2. There's some in AG where you can get some Fox Valley Tech credit, things like that. But what I want to highlight real quickly, and you've heard this before probably, the quick differences between CAP and AP, because those will be on your menu for choosing classes. Quick differences between CAP and AP. CAP If you remember, CAP is basically a UW-Oshkosh class that's taught right here in Brillion. So when you're taking a CAP class, essentially Mrs. Mathis or whoever teaching the class is essentially a UW-Oshkosh instructor at the time that you're taking it, as well as a Brillion instructor. Now, there's a choice with the CAP part of it. You can take the Brillion class and it'll say CAP Physics or CAP Pre-Calculus or CAP Statistics or whatever. You can take those classes and then you have a choice on whether or not to make them an Oshkosh class for you. You don't have to make that choice at this time. That choice comes later on. At the start of May, we're going to go through how to go through a pre-registration to Oshkosh. If you want to make it an Oshkosh credit, you got to pay a little bit of money. It's a 70% discount to what Oshkosh kids pay, the actual college kids. But if you want to do that, you pay a little bit of money, and then whatever you do and go through the registration process successfully, and whatever you do at Brillion will also transfer into UW-Oshkosh and transfer pretty well into the great majority of colleges. Okay, so Oshkosh, so CAP, your class is an Oshkosh, UW-Oshkosh class simultaneously as you speak. AP is a different game. AP, there is no specific college affiliated with AP. You take an AP, and the intent usually in taking an AP class is there's a pretty much a monster test at the end of the year, about a 2.5, 3 hour test at the end of the year. Some classes even 3.5 hours. You take those AP tests at the end of the year. If you score well enough on the AP exam, then you'll get college credit at pretty much any college. You'll get meaningful college credit at probably about 85% of the places you'd be looking at. So, but it's all or nothing on that end of the year. So, for instance, the classes like AP History and AP Government, AP Chem, they have about a 60% pass rate on the AP exams. So you can take the class and get an A, but the exam is what's going to determine whether or not you get the college credit or not. So, so there are two different things. The high school grade and the test are separate. The test determines the college credit part. So I'm going to try to talk a little bit faster. I don't want to keep you guys more than 20 minutes. Going subject by subject, math, I think just about anyone in education would say we recommend a math class. But you've got choices your senior year. You can climb the ladder. You can keep climbing the ladder in the math sequences in classroom. Or you can go off to the side and take college tech math. Even if you're going to university, you can do that. But those are your choices, is to climb the ladder. And the other choice is there's a class called CAP Statistics, which is totally an elective. Just another way, that's only one trimester rather than 2 trimesters of math. But that's a way you can get an elementary statistics college credit if you choose to do so. So that's math. English, you're going to have English. You're going to have English 12 or AP English. That's just the simple choices. I think you know the games there. Again, nothing's preloaded, but you have to have an English class. You have to have 4 to graduate, so make sure you get that in. Social studies, most of you will need another social studies credit. We need 3.5 to graduate from Brillion. Senior social studies has had the most volume over the years. There are more AP classes in there right now on our menu than there have been in the past. So AP History, AP Government, AP Psych could replace Senior Social. Certainly there's no problem taking something like AP Psych and Senior Social. Just because it's the minimum doesn't mean you can't take more social studies, and for some people I think that's a good idea. Science, you've got all kinds of choices. You should have 3 classes because you're supposed to take your 3rd credit by last year, by your junior year. You should have 3 credits walking into senior year. It's all choice. A lot of those are, a lot of science classes look good for colleges, not necessarily mandated, but look very good. There's CAP and AP offerings on the table in science also. Phy-Ed notes, the quick notes on Phy-Ed, there's 3 of them. First of all, you can only take 1 Phy-Ed class per year. As an athlete in high school and being big into sports, I would be the one complaining about that rule, but that's the rule, and that's really what we have room for, facility-wise, staffing-wise, things like that. So Phy-Ed, you can take 1 class your senior year. You do have to take 3 classes in your life. So if you haven't taken Phy-Ed every single year, you do have to take a senior year. If you've taken it every year, you can take a senior year off if you want. The other note I would have is with something called Unified Phy-Ed. Unified PE is something that Ms. Kohler has gotten information out on. You should have communicated to her and gotten feedback if you're going to be in that class. but that's kind of a neat class, and you can look up the description if you want. But it's kind of a neat one. A couple oddball classes besides Unified Ed, because that may not be in the menu, and you have to go specifically through the teacher. The other oddball class is publications. You can take publications. If you take it, take both halves of it, take both trimesters of it. And the thing about publications is there's basically an application process, and you have to get selected to be. Miss Bushman usually picks 14 people to be in her publications team, and so there's no guarantee that you take it that you'll end up in the class. It's a kind of a competitive thing with an application. So those are a few things about some of the classes. Some other notes, some notes on scheduling when you get to your schedule. When you log into Skyward, you're going to see that on the left-hand side, there'll be a little button called scheduling. You should have directions for all of this. Left-hand side will be scheduling. Near the top, it will probably say course requests for 21-22. That's where you go in, and you're going to have side-by-side. You're going to have one schedule. One schedule is going to be basically empty. It's going to say 0 credits on it. That's your schedule. The other one is the menu of classes. You have to choose your classes from the menu, double-click them, or click and hit an arrow, and it'll jump into your schedule. Your schedule has to keep filling up until it gets at least 6 credits. You can go all the way up to 7.5. 7.5 is no study halls ever. 6 is a study hall every single trimester. I would recommend right now, if you're not sure, take a little bit more because you can always peel off. Don't underschedule. I'd rather overschedule and peel off later. Also know this, you know this from the past, very likely that you're going to get some sort of schedule conflict. We offer so much. We're a school that offers like 5, 6 different AP classes and 4 or 5 different CAP classes. Kind of unusual for a school as small as ours. But by offering that many classes, that many options, what it does is it kind of narrows how many sections of each class there are. So if we didn't offer, for instance, if there was no AP social studies, then there'd be 4 sections of senior social studies if there was no AP. But because we have so much AP, there might only be 2 of senior social. So it's tougher to get your classes to fit. So what happens is some classes run into other classes. There's only 5 hours in a day. Some classes run into 5 other classes, and you have to let one go and pick something else, and that's just the way it is. That's the way it is almost everywhere. We're a little bit tougher with trimesters and with the amount of classes we have at Brillion. But expect some sort of conflict. We're going to give you guys, as going to be seniors, first choice at cleaning up your conflicts. We'll call you into the auditorium, give you all your information, and let you guys clean up your conflicts before next year's juniors and next year's sophomores get a shot at that. So, but anyway, when you log in, you're going to go into your schedule and put classes in. It auto saves. You don't have to do it all today. Certainly, you have till the 26th when you show them to your teachers. So, but some of you might want to get on it right away. It auto saves. So if you put in 4 credits worth of stuff and you're going to come back to it, you say, how do I save this stuff? You don't. It just auto saves. It's in there. Don't worry about that part of it. Some other things to quick mention. Again, you're going to show your homeroom teacher. The portal's open right now. You could be doing it right now as I speak. You can obviously get information from myself, your homeroom teacher, your parents, the class listings, the course offering descriptions, which were put out by a teacher who teaches the class. So I'm not gonna hit you guys up too long. You're seniors, you know the lay of the land a little bit. You're going to be seniors. You've been through this game before. If you have questions, please ask your homeroom teacher. Please ask me. Get help from your homeroom, but you do have to have a minimum of 6, max of 7.5 credits in your schedule by January 26th. If you have any questions, please let me know. We're going to hope to have classes out with hours on them by about the first week of April, so you guys can start cleaning up the conflicts, getting totally settled walking into your senior year. So if you have any questions, please let me know. But that's what I have for today. Thank you.